Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Mod Driven. It's that time to go over the 5 best or my 5 most favorite mods on the Honda Civic. I've done a lot of stuff to this car so far, but there really are 5 that stand out. I'm going to throw a bonus number 6 in there too. But let's go ahead and get started. First of all, in the back, it's got to be the wing. Love the wing on the back of this truck, the trunk spoiler, or on the back of this car, the trunk spoiler, whatever you want to call it. Love the look of this thing. Does it really do anything? Well, it is a spoiler. It's supposed to put some downforce on the back, but it is a front-wheel drive car, right? So ultimately, I wouldn't say it's really functional. It, of course, can help direct air around off the back of the car, but it just looks good. And I think it looks awesome. Next up, we've got to move inside. And you can see it a little bit, maybe, right out there, that beaming white globe that you see in there. It is an oversized, and I'll call it an overweighted shift knob. These things are pretty cool. Of course, it's a great way to customize your shift knob. This is a manual transmission. You can customize automatics as well. I mean, they just twist off. Very simple to do. Did have to change out the way that it marries up to the rod on here, but that's pretty simple to do as well. Love the feel of this thing. Because it is overweight or heavy, it does make throwing through the gears or rowing through the gears even that much easier and that much more fun. Love this thing, love the hand feel of it, and I think it looks great inside the car. Right next to that, of course, we have a custom shift boot. This thing is pretty cool. Got to admit, it may not be the simplest mod in the world to do, but it's very satisfying. Looks good in the car, and it is a manual, so it should look a little more sporty, right? And it does. Just adds a little personalization, I guess, to the center console area, the whole area here. And that, along with this white beaming globe, is an eye catcher. When you get inside this car, I think this is the first thing that you probably see. Love the way that that looks. Really, really happy with it. Next up, we need to take a look under the hood. Put an intake in there, and I have to say, love the looks of that as well. Let's pop the hood, take a quick look at it. And there you go. You can see it sitting here. Again, another one of these eye-catching mods. I think if you're an under-the-hood junkie like I am, I love to see a little bit of bling under the hood when I open it up. Just a talking point and something that really catches the eye. Now, from a functionality standpoint, does it really do anything? Well, that's a point of contention, I guess. I've never noticed anything from cold air intakes with the exception of one. That I happen to have on a Jeep Gladiator. Gives me a throatier sound from under the hood. It's the only one that I've ever had that actually gives me anything that I can notice. This is purely aesthetic. Haven't seen a power increase, a mileage increase, fuel economy, and I don't really notice any sound out of it either. It just looks cool under the hood. By the way, one thing I did want to mention about this, I kind of lucked out. I was able to find one that was finished in this kind of gray color, if you will, and it matches the color of the car really, really well. I love that. Next up, while we're under the hood, got to take a look at the struts. Like these things, I think they're pretty cool. They don't give you a full up. They're not so powerful that they'll actually lift the hood by themselves, but once you get them fully extended, they do hold the hood up. No fear of it crashing down, slicing your head off if you're under there doing something. And they look pretty cool. These in particular, and you can get hood struts in a myriad of different colors. I think these particular ones come in a ton of different colors. I went with the carbon fiber red. Again, I wanted something eye-popping under the hood. And if you're going to do it, why not get something that's going to be really obvious when you open the hood anyway? That way, if you're taking it to the shop for an oil change or something, you won't have them fumbling around with that strut or that rod, which, by the way, I just removed. It was just in the way, and there's not really a good way to use it with the struts on anyway, and it would be too close, so I just got rid of it. Now, one thing I want to mention about these hood struts, unlike a lot of others that you can get, they are simply bolt-on. The little bracket bolts on down here at the bottom, and then the top bracket bolts on right there at the hood hinge or hood bracket point. One thing to be careful of, make sure that you don't pinch off your windshield wiper fluid line. I did that, got in the car, had never used it before, went to clean the windows, and I got nothing. And it's because when I shut the hood, I had it on the other side. It was actually pinching in this area. So just make sure if you do something like this that you're conscious of where this line is so that you don't run into problems down the road. Lastly, we have a bonus, as I mentioned, and it's the blackout, particularly the blacked out badging. Although there's one other thing I blacked out I'll show you here in a minute. The badges I'm talking about are very simple. They just stick on. Can be a little difficult to get off. You do have to break some pins to get them off, but hey, you're not reusing them anyway. They're that old chrome nasty look. So we've got one on the front right there. Love the look of that. And then if we go around to the back, we've got one here as well. Again, just popped out. This is just held on by double-sided tape. There are no lateral or up and down, sideways forces on this. No wind is going to blow it off or anything crazy. Love the look of that. Now, I mentioned there's one other thing I blacked out. Of course, it's the exhaust exit down here, the tip. I actually hand painted that with a grill paint. Now, I was a little concerned that maybe I would have grill or brush marks in it. It really didn't. It really came out well. Everything kind of smoothed in, and you wouldn't even know that that was brushed. Typically, when I do some sort of a painting mod, I prefer to use a spray can, you know, the old rattle can, because that's how I find you get the best finish, as long as you're not having runs or anything. The key to that, by the way, is multiple thin coats. Take your time, it will cover, but don't go nuts, you'll get runs. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of go over the 5 most favorite things or mods that I've done with the Honda Civic back here on my journey, I guess, to personalize it and make it my own. Love the looks of the car right now. Plenty more to come. Stay tuned. Leave a comment. If you've got a Civic or any other car, what's the most favorite? What is your most favorite mod that you've done to it? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about the Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.